it's Kathleen from Republica Unicornia, and here we are at the moment of truth. We're going to cut open the steek on the front of my Hello from My Colors modified cardigan. This is the exciting part. I know you've been suffering through like a month of me talking about technicalities just to watch me cut my knitting, so welcome. So what I've done is this is all detailed in the blog post, but I've gone ahead and I've done the button bands. I like to do the button bands before I cut open the steek, because you can do it either way, but if you're trying to pick up stitches from the column next to the steek after the steek has been cut, it can put a little bit of stress on the steek. Again, this is really sticky yarn, so it shouldn't unravel, but I don't like to mess with it. Plus, this way, all I have to do is cut open the steek, whip stitch the steek down, and then block it and sew on buttons, and I'm done with my sweater. So it's kind of like the final step. So setting myself up for success here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually just push this down so y'all can see. I hope you can see this. So I have a very fancy, it's my die binder underneath here. And so this will help me kind of see so I don't accidentally cut through the back of the sweater. I've never had that be an issue, but I don't want it to be an issue. So I'm gonna show y'all. So this is the crochet reinforcement, pulls apart that center stitch of the steek. I talked about this in my earlier video. And it just makes it really, really easy for you to cut up, and you're gonna cut these ladder stitches. So I'm not afraid of this. If it's your first time, do a swatch, it's really fine. I'm pretty fearless about these because I've done so many, watch me ruin it. So I'm gonna do this actually in real time so you can see how long it takes. You are not in a hurry, right? Like this is not going anywhere. Give yourself some time. And I'm just gonna start with this first stitch right here. And you don't wanna snip your crochet edge. That is not a thing you want to do. So again, another reason why I like to do a contrasting crochet edge. So I'm just gonna start my snipping and just do a couple at a time. You can kind of pull it apart as you go. Help you see it. Okay, there we go. And so it's starting to come apart. You can see how those edges are nice and tucked in the crochet. And again, as you wear it, it'll kind of felt. We are gonna stitch them down so they're not like all over the place. But these ends, they really do kind of felt. You don't want to like pull on it or anything. You don't want to like unnecessarily give it, stress it out. But I also do recommend really small, sharp scissors for this. Like embroidery scissors are really good. Do not get out your like giant sewing scissors. You want to be able to just do a couple little ladders at a time. It's really satisfying. It's one of my favorite things to do in knitting. I'm watching my knitting more than the video, so you may not be able to see what I'm doing. Let me actually go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Nope. It's more important that I see what I'm doing. Sorry. But you can see why the contrasting crochet reinforcement is a good life decision, because it really does help. Okay, I'm gonna scooch. See? So you can see it coming apart, and what you'll start to see is as we continue to cut, it's going to fold over, and you're gonna have a cardigan front. And so this is the edge that we're gonna whip stitch down, is here, and it's gonna be fabulous. So I'm gonna give this a little scooch, a little binder scooch, maybe. Okay, there you go. So I know this feels, I don't know. I know it feels scary. I know it looks crazy. It's the best. And it is a little wild after you've spent like how many weeks knitting a sweater to be like, and I'm going to cut it. But then you get cardigans, and cardigans are great. This is actually my third Steeked colorwork cardigan this summer. It's early September. And because I realized last year, since I've been making my own clothes, that I really, really, really need more cardigans, because that's what I prefer to wear, and I don't really wear pants, and so pullovers are a little hard to style with skirts and dresses, which is mainly what I wear. So I was like, okay, well, I need more cardigans. So I went all in. You can see, I don't know if you can see here, this is where I did the crochet reinforcement a little wonky, but it's fine. Seriously, super forgiving. But yeah, so this way I can have all the cardigans that I want, which turns out to kind of be a lot of them. See, crochet chain is intact. I'm not snipping through it, thankfully. Definitely do this somewhere where you have good light. Like I said in one of my posts, the second one I cut, I was tucked up in bed watching TV and just whipped through it, which, you know, you can do that if you want and you're like me. I don't necessarily recommend it. I tend to do them like this now. So somewhere where there's a lot of good natural light, especially if the colors are a little darker. The purple's actually a little hard to see here. Snippy snips, snippy snips, almost there, see? So you can see, I mean, we're what, like 6 minutes into this video? This is not like an overly, and I am taking my time. Okay, and then we're gonna get that done. That's it. We got a steek cut open. So you can see how it naturally just, because you know stockinette rolls, you can see how it naturally just folds over. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit so you can see the whole sweater. I am not going to model it because I'm wearing a ridiculous moth print pinafore and the clashing would be really impressive. So it can get, especially if you're using like a chunkier yarn, like a worsted weight, it can get a little bulky here. I actually freaking love the Steek puff. I like how it looks. I like how it feels. I don't know, it makes me steek. It's great. But some people do find it a little bulky. Just something to keep in mind. I freaking love it. So here we go. We got a cardigan. That's it. That's all there is. So all of these ends are actually woven in as I went, but I'm going to probably weave them in a little bit more. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm not going to show this on camera because it's really boring, is I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to just whip stitch the steek down. So just going to have that stitched all the way down so it doesn't flap around. You can also cover it with a ribbon. I actually have some ribbon to cover it with. I don't know, I haven't decided. I may do both. I'm a little worried about bulk if I do both. The good news is about adding ribbon is it makes it easier to sew on buttons because it's easier to sew buttons with thread onto more fabric than it is to sew them onto yarn. So anyway, we have a Steek cardigan. So that is it. There's going to be a couple more blog posts about just kind of finishing stuff. I don't like finishing steps, but we're getting there. So that's it. I hope you have had as much fun with this as I have. It's been a really fun process. It's a good technique to have, especially if you're a cardigan wearer and hate knitting flat because your tension's all over the place or you hate purling or whatever. So I hope you've had a great time. Thanks so much.